the ink of the miser, that's what the feather serpent you wanted. Huh? Thanks. Nobody ever here. Did someone have that button? She did. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my phone in.
You should put some information on your surroundings if you send that plumber.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll let her know that I won't be here, so.
Hi, how are you?
Hey.
Okay.
Barely.
Nice pants.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trying to go for a springer color.
Okay.
Okay, so the update that I have, and I think you guys may already have this, but we're gonna so we had a community payment of $100 and a community payment of $75. Right. And so those were paid too. So now what we're looking at is that lowers the current to $349.26, and that will get the utilities turned back on. And then that remaining payment would be under that extension for the 5/1 date, like we talked on the phone. That payment would be $378.16.
Okay, so whenever I know any information you've kind of acquired over the past few days, but I think if you wanted to leave with something, I think in regards to yesterday when you weren't here with the information with Captain Perry, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't understand. Why does the police have my account information?
Well, I guess a question a bit
Why
more is
were
that
they?
he and I came down here to speak with whoever, and I guess your receptionist, whoever was here on Friday, the same woman, we were like, hey, so knowing you wouldn't be here, so is the city manager here or whoever? She's like, well, I'm not sure, they're in meetings in the chamber, let me see who's here to talk to you. Well, all of a sudden, Sarah teleports back here on the window, I don't know if it was there. Yeah, back behind this window, we were able to see if there's somebody from the city manager's office, and she's talking with us, and essentially she hung up on us that morning, and she's telling us, oh, I'm sorry, if you have payment information, send us upstairs, which is where we go upstairs to talk to the city attorney and are encountered by the 4 gentlemen, police officers, one of them is here. But as we were talking yesterday, we actually, we get home, we call DHS, and I actually have that phone call recorded here. It's about 38 minutes, my phone's dead, so I can't play it, but we spoke with Mandy from DHS, or not Mandy, Marcy rather.
Marcy?
And so just for confirmation, while we're all here, she wanted clarification as to why when we came down yesterday, like Todd and I, we were kind of trying to figure out who we could speak with, and she said, let me see, and she brought Sarah out, and we couldn't even really get any clarification. We were told the city manager, we knew you were gone, but the city manager was in some type of meeting. She couldn't even tell us the time when they'd get out or anything about you necessarily, so we leave the office to go upstairs, he and I, and in a 5-minute span or so, that's when we're encountered by the 4 police officers upstairs, and the Captain Perry engages us. He actually is familiar. They start to speak, and his mother calls, and at that moment, I guess Captain Perry goes downstairs, I believe by himself maybe, comes back up and actually comes to me and says, so, if you're looking to handle this, you'll need to come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. He's already established an appointment with you. You have it marked on your calendar, and he comes back up, and he actually has the dollar amount she owes in hand and says it out loud kind of in front of everybody. So I guess our question is without her consent, like, where does he get permission to go and get that information pertaining to her account? A police officer.
Okay, I don't have that information. I wasn't here yesterday, so I'm not aware of all the details.
But he did coordinate on your behalf and log the appointment with you, and you put it on your calendar when he called you, so you have some sort of working relationship.
I didn't talk to him.
Oh, man.
So who said that? So who set the appointment on your calendar?
Okay.
He left for about 5 minutes,
That's
came
fair.
back up, and he said
That's
that
fair.
we had an appointment log with you that was on your calendar, so I guess the receptionist made it? So she divulged her private information to a police officer when we were in the building?
I
Right.
don't know how it
Well,
went.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I hear what you're saying, but you hear what he's saying?
Yes.
Because now what I have to say is, we're on the phone first, and we're talking to Sarah, and let us be forthright with you that our assumption with Sarah is that she was a part of whatever
This office.
your office is. Okay, so to find out that Sarah is the utility department for us is a back step.
She's actually who we
Okay.
first spoke with on Wednesday when we came in last week.
Now, one, she called him technical, face to face.
When I was
Okay, when we're asking questions, there's no need for that degree of, there's correct, right, and that's where we're being is technical though. We have to be correct and exact. We're talking about right. Okay, so then 2 though, we're on the phone, and what our point is that the money is set up. We don't know what bureaucracy the city has with LIHEAP, but whatever that is has caused her problems. The funds are there. I can't make LIHEAP do anything. Whatever this partner, you hear what I'm saying? Conversation is we can't make the city do anything, but the money is there. Now the other churches issue their promises to pay, so forth. But what I want to bring forth to you is for myself and this gentleman to come here, and we've had the greatest engagement with you. Yes, we're in this tug of war, right? To say it like that.
Mutual
But
respect,
for Sarah, from the phone to in person, be this woman of
she literally hung up in her face as she was
yeah,
trying
and
to
I mean
describe the
it's
situation.
really
Now, if
disrespectful.
you don't
It's
have
really
paid-
disrespectful. And then, no disrespect to Bostic, right? He's new in the thing to say to you like that, right? We know these things are going on. But we had 4 officers walk upstairs on us while we're looking at the flood plan.
armed
And
person
now
officers.
for me to talk to you, I'm fighting these people. Okay, I have history with these people. My name Kiagu is known through the courtroom. My name Kiagu is known in this place. The gentleman Perry, who I saw yesterday, I spazzed for 3 minutes. My lady's dead. Okay, my child's been kidnapped by this thing that's going on here. That's not on you, but it's gotta all come down. You hear me talking to you in all seriousness with you. So again, no same. So again, the money's here. We know that. We're here to just have whatever this transition is, so she can get. Because now her medicine is gone. Then we find out she's under the life threat thing.
If I may, I wanted to actually play the recording so you can hear this. So when we get back so
Pardon
we're
me.
going to OSU schools to pick up lunches for us to eat because the food we all bought is spoiled at this point. And we get back home and he makes the statement like, maybe reach out to Lihe, kind of see where they're at. See him at the time he goes to lie down for a bit and we get on the phone. She and we established at the get-go, hey, I'm on the phone, acting as in a fiduciary capacity. She's very helpful. Her name's Marcy. I recorded the entire phone call, let her know I was doing such, just as I did with these gentlemen upstairs. I said, it's a one-party consent state. I am recording for both our protection, her protection, your protection even. And we're talking with her on the phone, and if I may, I'm describing the totality of the situation, point A all the way to point Z, where we're at, who we've talked with, how it's been engaged. And we'll have the recording, but she's stupefied. It doesn't make any sense to her. She's baffled. She's aghast at how she's being treated. But as we get through, she goes, okay, so let me see here. I explained the statute stating in Oklahoma that in Oklahoma with that state statute, if you have applied for financial assistance, state or federal, at that point, once it's been applied for and accepted, power should not be cut off for 20 days minimum. And that's apart from all the additional factors she has in play, which had additional security nets there for her, which she's of course receiving none of. But she's telling us that, okay, let me see, your application was originally submitted on April 5th, which still would have put it before the cutoff, but turns out that one did not go through. They canceled it because they're not even in LIHEAP right now. They're in what's called ECAP.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine you might not have much knowledge, seeing as how you don't sync up with them. But she's letting us know that actually why that was canceled is because we're in ECAP. But when they resubmitted the application on the 18th, and she was told, hey, we know your situation, we're going to expedite it. She said, and you should be, so she said, have you checked your card lately? Because I actually have it right here, the LIHEAP card. And I actually told her, I said, you know what, before we get on the phone, I had checked it about 15 minutes prior. It still has 88 cents. And she's like, okay, well, also we sent a letter out. Should be arriving any day. While I'm on the phone with her, I see the postman come up with the mailbox. I feel like he opens it, so I tell her, hey, hold on, it might be here now. Let me pop out and check. There's nothing in the mailbox. Come back in, let me know. And so I said, well, so if it's been approved, that way we can communicate to you, because I promise to pay. Could you at least let me know what she's been approved for? I know, do you have that information? Let me see. She talks with 2 supervisors and comes back and she says, so I can't see the approval amount.
No, sorry.
Do you
You're
like
right.
it? We can
No,
come
it's
out.
a insurance.
We'll
That's
take it.
all that I get. All
Spam.
spam.
I got that on the docket too. So anyhow, so she tells us, let me hold on. She puts it on hold for a few minutes and she comes back and she says, okay, so I can't see that dollar amount. So you are approved. I check that card every single day. I would check your mailbox because that should be arriving. She's like, check that card over and over because it could be there. I can't tell you when, but any moment. Now, as far as the amount, She could have probably looked at the amount and told us, but the reason she couldn't see the dollar amount is because her application was literally approved through a different department, not a different department outside of state DHS, but a different department within their framework, a department called Life Threatening Department. And so she's telling us that, and she's baffled as all, hearing all these things, and I see there's 23 minutes left, and I say, you know, I appreciate the information, you've been very helpful. Here's the situation though, they close at 5 o'clock. Power's been off for this long, we have 23 minutes left. I need to go ahead and get on the ball if there's any hope of having the power turned on today. So I say to her, I was like, well, so the situation here, I know that you can't reach out to them directly, because she describes that you're a non-participating partner, that the information you relay, which basically states that if she were to give permission, so to speak, and say, hey, you know what, state DHS, LIHEAP, all that framework, you have my permission to take my debit card, cut it up, send the funding directly to Christie, City Hall, wherever it is, and you said, I hear that, we'll receive it, and she says, okay, even then, they couldn't do anything, because well, that was the information you had given to us, but anyhow, so, as she's telling us this, she's like, so, I said, well, here's the thing, is that you're telling me this, I hear you, I know that we don't know the amount, but it does go off the current bill, you said up to 700, based upon the past allocations, there's no way it's not going to be at least the 300 or so or odd. She says, oh, yeah, right. I said, okay, well, let me get off the phone, I've got 20 minutes, it's a push of a button. We should be able to get the power on today, but you can't call directly, you can't be on the phone with me, I don't even want to infringe upon your time like that, but I'm kind of worried that when I call, 20 minutes left, that it's really just going to be, oh, well, it's your word once again. I don't have any concrete proof that, which I shouldn't need it, truthfully, but I was like, you know, that's where she goes, well, why don't you just go ahead and try, let me know the life-threatening, I got clarification on the department. We call Sarah, spent 38 minutes on the phone with Marcy with DHS, 23 minutes left, trying to get it done before yesterday, call back, lo and behold, we reach Sarah again, who I make a point, I have the call recorded, I make a point over and over to emphasize her LIHEAP has been approved emergency through their life-threatening department. That is life-threatening. Her medicine is already spoiled. Her entire food fridge is spoiled. She has an emotional support animal that's been registered, that's in there in the dark. Her chair can't charge. She can't take. She had to have a friend come up and pick her up last night and take her to shower. She's had to shower with a neighbor. All sorts of nightmares. And this nightmare situation is really being created by this entire thing, and for no reason. And so when we call, she tells us on the phone, life-threatening, it's an approved, life-threatening. Well, if you don't have a payment for me, then you're going to have to wait until DHS sends you that card, and then you can bring the payment in, and you're going to basically buy. And so I told her the same thing I'm going to tell you. At this point, this entire thing, as it's set up, it doesn't work for anybody other than y'all, and that's going to stop, whatever that means in federal district court. But this entire thing has been set up to victimize people that can't really help themselves, and you put so many legal loopholes, and you talk about technicalities. Of course I was being technical. You lace paperwork after paperwork with nothing but technicalities. How is anyone supposed to communicate other than that? And all the while, like I don't even want to, how does one account for even the time, the anxiety, the added worry and strain that's just put upon her for no reason? So at this point, LIHEAP, in fact, my phone's dead. Last I looked, I can try to charge it here in a moment.
Yeah,
it's not on here, but no matter what, I don't care if the money's loaded on that card. What happens, her power needs to be on today. Period. Because we were actually told by the police officer, your captain, and we have that recorded as well. He said, so the appointment's set up, it's on her calendar, but just so you know, why are police officers telling us this? I'm not sure, you're chief.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of
so
bugged.
you know,
That's bugged.
I have your account total amount, which you didn't give me authorization to actually retrieve.
Right.
Your receptionist gave that unbeknownst
Right,
to us.
unbeknownst
He
to
gave
us.
that to us, and then he comes back upstairs with the amount, declares it
Right.
in front of everyone, and tells us, so, just
Right.
so you know,
Yeah.
need to come back with the 442.
And it's belittling. It was belittling
Oh,
too.
it was. Come
Yeah.
back with the 442,
Right.
or there's nothing they will do. I'm
Right.
just letting you know
Correct.
now.
He doesn't even
And
know what's going
if you
on or
can't
what
make it at
we've
9
been
o'clock,
dealing
then you need
with.
to call and reschedule. And I'm not trying to be
Who's
rude. Your
been
time is valuable,
calling?
but let's be
Yeah.
honest here. You're on our time at this point.
Yeah, I
Our
mean, who's
time.
been calling or none of that? And for him to come upstairs 4 deep after we go through just trying to find out what time you guys return. That's what we came here for. And engaging and Sarah being brought forth instead of, hey, 2:30, 1:30, and we can have this conversation. This, not to be wild with you, but so we can have this conversation. But instead, It's 4 dudes following us upstairs. We in
Doing
City
nothing.
Hall.
The same
You
way
know
your
what I'm
acting police
saying?
chief, which I
We
was
in
not
City
aware, you
Hall.
probably knew this, but on Friday when we sat here,
It was so
here,
disturbing.
you knew this officer, you were the first officer here on Friday that kind of covered over. She said, anytime they hear voices raised
Yeah,
as well,
and you know,
as
it's
if
like,
we're being
okay,
disrespectful. That's
right.
fine, but he falls from the building the entire time, and I
Right.
heard him within earshot, not knowing who he was. But the gentleman that came in here in the athletic attire about 10 minutes after we sat down, stood over the cop's shoulder. I found out that you're acting police chief, and that was confirmed because when I told him, I said, you know, all the while the facts of the promise of pay that would have made it this, I don't know if you're aware of that, but a fax on Friday morning when we were all sitting in your office, her unable to be here because of her chair, you not wanting to speak to us because she wasn't here, the $400 community action funding, who you referred us to, Mandy, who you could have called directly. We had a hang up here. I had to wait to charge my phone, get on the phone with DHS, or get on the phone with her for permission. You call, you go back and say, hey, unfortunately, you know, we've got so many minutes left, and they got a 30-minute wait time. All the while, people buzzing around the office worried about us, your acting police chief standing there with an earshot telling your cop, hey,
Okay.
watch these two. All the while, a fax from First Presbyterian was sitting in your office at 10:30 that morning. They typically pay $50 for utilities. They allocated double that amount, got on the phone because she's a member there, and I attend there, they know us, got on the phone and made it happen, doubled the amount, got the fax over here at 10:30. You've got everybody racing around, getting ready to leave for your weekend, your courtesy extended hours. And all the while, we're sitting on the phone with DHS, and none of that was necessary. The discrepancy was right here, ready to go. And then when we leave, the people you referred us to, community action, Mandy, she actually tells somebody else that she didn't have anything on Larry Don, although she calls back after we leave your office, we apply pressure to you.
Yeah, there's a lot
All of a
of
sudden she calls back and tells her,
hijinks
hey, sorry,
and
you know, I know we
loop-de-loops.
said we had 400, but we actually can't give you anything
Yeah.
because you applied last year, and we can't help you again because you applied in July of last year, we
Right.
helped you. That could have been disclosed up front, and I think it's kind of strange that you have a relationship with them, and that's disclosed after we leave the office. It almost seems spiteful.
Yeah, let me
But-
say something while you plug your phone in. David from one of the churches
First
called
Christian, I think.
Church of Christ. Okay, he calls and he donates, you know, whatever he donates, right?
75.
He's calling for, okay, excuse me, $75 for the donation. But what he puts forth that is a problem for his agency is that they're calling the city or whatever their liaison is to do these promises to pay. And there's this so-called promise to pay person that's not in. So then, and this is his gripe, okay, through our investigation. This is his gripe. So he's getting to tell people, hey, I'm setting you up. I got you promise to pay. You know, I'm being my language, excuse me. But I got you set up with the promise to pay, but now your power's off. Because the promise to pay person isn't there. I can't get in touch with who the promise to pay person is.
That I did want to clarify a little bit from the Mandy part. So when you guys were here, you had indicated that Mandy had committed the $400. So we went and had Mandy contacted because that was what we were looking for, is if they were going to commit a dollar amount, we could get you turned back on. Mandy at that time said that wasn't correct and that she didn't have funds that she could release.
Okay,
And
that's
so
fine, but
that
she
was
had
just
told
a
Larry
little
Don
bit
twice she
To
did.
me, it's July.
Yes, and so that's what we called to say, hey, we've got the confirmation from Larry Don that you've spoken to her, can we please have that acknowledgement so that we can do the power? And
Right.
that's when she indicated that.
So after we left the office,
Is when Mandy was reached.
oh,
yes.
but I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but the timeline, I mean, when you had the capacity to reach out while we were here trying to get the power turned on, because once we left the office, no matter who you spoke with, no matter what happened, you made it very clear that her power could not be turned on, because it was not possible.
We were
So
told.
why did the phone call get made when we were here?
It did. We were waiting on that call back.
Okay.
I had a staff member reach out. You saw me trade a couple pieces of paper during the time that you guys were here.
Kinda
My
waste of time.
argument is Sarah, okay? She needs to be retrained. If you're going to let her stay here, she needs to be, I mean, and this is about her though, because we're speaking on her behalf. So as, you know, a woman who is disabled going through these things, and we're in a real sense of hierarchy here, a sense of urgency because her medicine.
I understand.
You know,
I
so-
completely hear the concerns that
No,
you guys
well,
voiced
I-
with Sarah's demeanors and
Yeah,
what
Sarah,
the
def-
actions-
Sarah
Yes,
definitely
we
though,
did.
like
Medicine, if we,
definitely.
we actually preemptively got to you,
Definitely.
talked with everybody before
Yeah.
the medicine spoiled, before the food spoiled,
Definitely.
before all
Yeah.
those things happened,
Right.
and
This
you
is
guys
our point.
systematically watched it fall apart.
This
and
is
told
our
us you couldn't
point
help.
right now because we've come here knowing these agencies have whatever. So now I'll say this to you. So can we just give you whatever the card number information is? So you guys can be prepared for whatever when it drops. Because she still can't say it's here until whenever they release it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, go ahead, I hear you.
You indicated that if you were able to provide an extension on 5/1, that you would be able to make payment for the bill at that time,
The 5/1,
No,
on the May 1st date.
no.
the 378.
Go ahead, but, yeah. Go ahead, I mean, she's talking to you.
The 378. I get paid on the 1st.
Okay. Are you able to make, what payment are you able to make?
We should
No, we're not gonna commit to any amount, we're not sure this put us far behind, nothing, I mean. don't
Yeah, I mean,
commit to
this
any
doesn't
amount.
even-
The power needs to be back on today, and we can't commit to
Yeah,
any
we could
amount
deal
today.
with the
Live
first
Heat-
when the
Live
first
Heat is waiting to cover
comes.
the entirety of it. We're waiting.
Right.
In fact, as soon as this charges, and I'm not trying to
Right.
be facetious, but as soon as I turn my phone on, I may pop online and see, because she said check it every day. So it may
Right,
look
that's why
now
we're
we
saying,
may-
can we just give you the
Mhm.
card number
We're not
as the
gonna-
promise to pay?
we're not gonna engage
So
in any payment or
when
anything.
when the money drops, you guys can take it. That's it. We're not here to be lost in anything else. Having us contingent or having her contingent, us contingent on May 1st is now completely unnecessary because whatever the fees are,
Yeah.
up to this point now, Lahid is going to take care of, and we don't even know what it is.
And I'd like to mention something real quick. I remember yesterday when pulling up the online billing, the total bill was $812.45, whatever that means.
Yeah,
You
there's
ask
some
me
more
for
hijinks
something,
with that.
and once it's turned off, of course, you get the entire amount with the 90 tacked on for a reconnect, put us at 902 or some odd. Going online to look, saw the bill is now at $1,183 and some odd cents. Of course, I thought, new fees have been tacked on, but I looked at the amount and thought, well, it's about the time, perhaps that's the new bill on there. And we actually did a lot better. We brought it down. Good job. We reduced the bill. It seems like that's right. And I'm looking at the bill history to the right. It shows the blue button, view bill, view bill. The 8/12/42 from this month.
Oh,
we can
yeah.
view that one. But the new bill's up. The total is now 1183.42 if I'm not mistaken. The far right though, what's odd is that you have, instead of view bill, it's pay bill. So we haven't received that. Hold on, we have not received it in the
It'll be
mail.
24 hours in advance of date. We have,
But why is the
Oh,
payout
okay.
here already when I
I
can't
hear
even
you
see it?
talking.
we have partners that do our
The
billing
partners need to be
system for us,
changed.
and so they have that pay hit.
Could you tell us who the partner, the
Oh,
paying
yeah,
partners are?
Colorado
And
or
then
something.
24 hours later, it will have that detailed information.
Okay, so could you tell us who the payment partners are?
So, come on in, we can help you. Who are you here for?
I just need to see about getting some properties zoned commercial.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Just take your time.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk you, I think you're gonna
Okay,
step
I'm in the
upstairs.
wrong spot.
So if you will go to the back of the room.
Yeah, we don't need to prolong this though. So your phone charge and
I've got it
yeah,
on.
let her hear
Turn on.
Marcy.
Thank you.
I'm gonna play the 3-minute call. Yeah, I won't drag it. I did before. I know you probably wrote these doing people coming in on your time, but I did want you to at least hear the final few minutes of the call with DHS where she emphasizes it's life threatening. You've been approved as life threatening, and then the 3-minute call with Sarah because it's very short and sweet, and the level of just hatred is astonishing.
It's just
So
unprofessional.
what I definitely do wanna hear is the voicemail or the recording with Sarah.
Mhm.
Because like I said, I appreciate you guys bringing those concerns forward on how you have been treated and how staff has interacted with you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
On the payment part, unfortunately, we're in a situation where we can't take Laif's acknowledgement that they will grant her funding
You know why that is,
future.
right?
without making some sort of agreement, and that's why I asked about the 5/1.
Well, the agreement is that y'all are going to be sued
To
into
get the
oblivion.
power back on now, we have to have some formal agreement with you that by X date you will pay that bill.
Okay, well, actually, so we're all on
And
record
so-
here. We'll go ahead and say we'll pay it.
Mm.
We're not going to, but we'll go ahead and sign it and you can turn it on.
Okay, let me go talk to them.
Okay.
Because what they're going to ask you is to sign an extension
Mhm.
stating that on that 5/1 date that you indicated to us before, that you'll pay the rest of the remaining bill.
And will they turn that on today?
Let me go talk to them
Okay.
and see what we can do.
Thank
because
you. And
they're-
while that, I've got to turn this on and I'll pull that audio recording if you
Okay.
want to hear. It's only about 3 minutes.
I would like to hear that,
Okay.
just based on your concerns. with
Thank
Sarah. So let me go see what we can do on the account, since we have two of the
All right.
promissory notes from
This
the
is extortion.
churches,
It is.
okay?
but
So
Okay,
I'll
We'll
be
be,
right
we'll
back.
be recompensed.
I hear you.
And far more than what the electricity bill was. They just bankrupted themselves, bro.
Mm.
Really.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, the entire city, municipality rather. And the hatred from the lady in the senior ride was just astonishing to me, almost worse than Sarah. She had no business talking to me like that. That's another thing. I'm gonna pull the video right from that. She shouldn't even be riding with it. I don't even want to do that because you hear she's like, I almost took my car today. Bike and all those things. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, that must be nice to have that option. You're in here talking to passengers like that, where she's like, oh, the lady she's riding with that actually told, oh, shut up. We don't want to hear it. I'm 74. I'm like, she's 59. I bet you her body is all of 100 years older than yours. I mean, her power's off. And on the ride home, she's acting all cheery, sitting up front, acting like nothing happened, like she didn't even know us, talking about this, that, and the other. And she's like, oh, I almost took my vehicle today, talking about sitting around being late. I'm like, oh, you want us to shut up while we talk about nightmarish issues, but you want to yap about your...
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was going
her
in.
Her son who just got married and purchased land here, and the Bennetts are part of this, and that's the Gundys, and we have 7 generations of cattle back in the pasture, like, oh, well, because we wanted to hear a person with no power going through all this, wanted to really hear that.
Yeah, I mean, she was playing her role. Huh?
Oh, she was, and that's fine. She got recorded, and I already let them know. I told the lady, I said, we're going to reach out to call the supervisor.
Yeah, I feel you on that. You have to, though.
The way she spoke to her was crazy.
Because they're expecting no one to correct them.
Oh, shit. Well, this is a passenger, too. After we talked about the fact, like, her air conditioner was out in the van. She said it went out today.
Like a maniac.
Mm-hmm.
She was driving like a maniac through Stillwater to go pick up this other lady. And then whenever we got out, every stoplight slammed on the brakes.
And I immediately, because I saw her contort herself, and I immediately said, I was like, ma'am, I don't need to tell you how to drive, but I was like, if you don't, I was like, I need you to start, because, and I laid out very kindly, I laid out, this is what's going on, when you brake like that, when you turn suddenly, I understand you're trying to get there on time, I appreciate your concern to get us there on time, but like, it's more important that she not end up there and like, I can't help it if the red light turns, like, well, you can't help that by not approaching the signal light 30 feet away at 80 miles an hour.
Right.
And that's when her passenger up front, who supposedly she was late picking us up because she had another passenger to pick her up, but yet she picked us up first. We grabbed her second. She pops up front, they're friends, buddy, and we start talking about our situation, and you hear her going, oh, shut up, I'm 74, I don't want to hear it.
Ooh.
Yeah, bro. Mm-hmm. So I told the driver right then and there, I said, listen to me, if you don't start to drive like I've asked you to, not because I'm telling you what to do, because it's what's legal, really, I'm going to call your supervisor while we're driving on speaker. And I said, and then the lady started chiming even more. I said, ma'am, I said, I wish you would treat us with the respect and love we're trying to show you, but obviously you're full of hatred. I said, but we love you. And she goes, oh, shut up. I said, ma'am, if you keep talking to us that way, I will call the police right now. And she goes, oh, no, you won't. So, and she showed up in the second ride like a new person. Like
what is wrong with the people, though?
People are full of hatred and anger and thinking they're entitled to something because I'm 74. At the age of 20, I wouldn't doubt if I didn't do more than she has, and that's even.
Did she have a mask on too?
Nope, the driver did, but nope.
They both might have been eating the rocks.
So this is. I'm gonna check light heat real quick while she's down there, see what's.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I got some really amazing articles that I found really cool.
Right, so now everything's contingent on the promise to pay May 1st.
Hey, I'm just sorry. I mean,
sorry.
Tell them up front. I'm gonna say, you know what? We'll sign a promise to pay, but we're not promising to pay anything. Be upfront about that. The power needs to be on today. Period. I mean.
Yeah, you already said that, so you don't have to say it again.
I'm just reiterating. I hope that stance is understood. Like that's,
right. Well, no, we're engaged in the same legal process, so you see what's going on, so we just need to sit down and put it together, shoot it out. Yeah. An ATM. I don't know. Probably.